He could turn into an elephant. Nintendo was not about to let E3 season end without getting a word in, so this week they put on a pretty big Nintendo Direct, and the biggest announcement from this event is this: Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I really like that title. Just putting Wonder at the end of New Super Mario Bros? It shouldn't work, but it works. Because I think that word wonder is what makes Nintendo still a special company. Nobody does Wonder like Nintendo does Wonder. Think of Tears of the Kingdom. Right? That game is perpetual wonder. I wonder what this will do. I wonder what that is. I wonder where this goes. I wonder what's under that. I wonder how to get to there. I wonder if this will work. I wonder what time it is. I wonder if this is becoming unhealthy. I wonder when I will be satisfied. That's my game of the year. But you see something like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and you kind of roll your eyes, right? That's so Nintendo. Nothing Nintendo does makes sense. But really, everything Nintendo does makes sense if you watch this clip again. This is Satoru Iwata in a Nintendo Direct from 2012.
These are the Japanese character for Dokuso. This is a term which has guided Nintendo since the early days of the company when Mr. Hiroshi Yamauchi was president. In English, it means creating something unique.
Dokuso. Creating something unique. And that's it, man. When Game Informer asked Shigeru Miyamoto what his favorite Japanese word is in 2017, here's what he said.
What's your favorite Japanese word?
Dokuso.
And then in 2020, in the 80th annual general meeting of shareholders, Miyamoto is still going on about Dokuso and how it's a guiding principle for Nintendo. By the way, this was a tricky one to look up because Google says that Dokuso means poison, virus, venom, germ, harm, injury, and spite. Incidentally, these are the words that I live by. But yeah, Nintendo spelled it the same here, Dokuso. If you read down a little further though, there's a phrase I like a lot, since Miyamoto can be surprisingly blunt sometimes. He says, our job is to generate new demand in a field that is not a bare necessity. It's not wrong. Really? Nobody needs video games. And so I want to look at the Nintendo Direct under that lens. Did they generate new demand? So I see this as an opportunity to bring out the delayed input wonder meter. And I'm going to use this to rate each of the new game announcements from that Nintendo Direct. First, the appearance of Detective Pikachu returns. Now, this was first awkwardly announced in 2019.
The 3DS game's story ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, but the conclusion to the story will finally be coming to Nintendo Switch. I hope fans will look forward to seeing a different take on the ending to the story than what you saw in theaters.
Just a reminder for you that the ending in theaters they're referring to is when Detective Pikachu morphs into fully human Ryan Reynolds. So even before they have a second of gameplay to show you, an ounce of premise, they want to make clear to you right then and there back in 2019 that this game will not end with Detective Pikachu turning into Ryan Reynolds. Anyway, here it is, finally, the Switch sequel, a game starring Detective Pikachu and Tim Goodman wearing his iconic red hoodie. Now, I have to be consistent. If I'm going to make a mockery of Starfield's subpar facial animations, what are we supposed to make of this?
Disguises are a key part of detective work.
A hard-boiled, talking Detective Pikachu was once an oddball, novel, fun idea. And then, I don't know, COVID happened. It just, it doesn't seem exciting. It doesn't register anymore as anything unique. So this trailer presents nothing for us. I feel like they had to show something bad happening. Not even sure, obviously a dead Pokemon would be shocking, but they're not going to kill a Pokemon. But maybe, a Pokemon gets its breakfast stolen? Give me something. As it stands, low wonder. A remake of Super Mario RPG was announced. Unfortunately, I have to repeat one of my regular bad takes here. Look, Super Mario RPG, when it came out, is and still stands to be one of the best looking Super Nintendo games of all time. Came out really late in that console's life cycle. Here we have an exact recreation of that. You cannot get more exact than this. This looks perfect, but what I'm saying is it's not an honest recreation. In that, when this game was made as a top-down game, that's the best possible way to make an RPG. That is the best looking way to convey these scenes. That's no longer true. You've chosen to recreate the perspective exactly as it was, but not modernize it. The Resident Evil remakes, Final Fantasy VII Remake, those games are drenched in wonder. Those are ideal remakes to me. Think about Super Mario RPG having the Final Fantasy XVI camera perspective. Don't even try to imagine that, because that will never happen, and if you make a video complaining about it, you look stupid. Because honestly, if we're being honest, it is very cool that this thing even exists. Medium wonder. There's an untitled Princess Peach game announced. Watch this part.
Huh? Whoa. What on earth is happening?
Look what they just did. This is exactly what we're talking about. Whoa! What is it? It's probably a new dress, right? But for now, we don't know. I'm a little concerned they're gonna lean too hard into this stage setup. You know, it's more than Mario 3. It's more than Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm scared it'll be to the point where it's like, don't worry, player. None of this is actually happening. Princess Peach isn't actually in danger. She's not actually performing any actual heroism. It's just a play. Still, I'm not going to get a good night's rest until I know what Peach's new dress looks like. Moderate wonder. Visually enhanced Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Excellent game, but I played that and got all those gems years ago. Congrats to new players, but a paltry wonder. Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince was revealed? These are weird. It's a Switch exclusive monster battling Dragon Quest RPG. Yet, I watch all of that and think, okay. Last year, Dragon Quest Treasures was a Switch exclusive, and that also featured you teaming up with a party of monsters. And that same old dumb song throughout the entire trailer. And I get, like, this trailer does emphasize what's different. Here you have the power to combine monsters. What do you get if you cross this thing with this thing? I don't care. Little wonder. Penny's big breakaway from the creators of Sonic Mania was announced. Yes, of course, we will all wonder why they made her eyes look like that, but I think generally the game looks cool. That's a good wonder. Star Ocean, the second story R. It's a classic to somebody. Wonder. WarioWare Move It was announced. WarioWare games are about wonder. Rapid fire wonder. What'll be next? You have no idea. But then, I do think that expires. Like, how long is this actually going to be funny for? And really, at this point, it just looks regular. It looks like a regular WarioWare game. They're trying to demonstrate what is different here. Like, hey, you move your body in this one, and yet, yeah, I remember moving my body in WarioWare's smooth moves. We've done this. Gutter Wonder. And finally, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The game seems designed around every level, providing copious moments of delight and surprise. I didn't expect a tube to do that. I didn't expect a piranha plant to do that. Wow. And yeah, I think saving the elephant for last, the final seconds of the trailer, is a brilliant play. That's the thing that will stand out. That's what we will remember. That's the thing that we're going to wonder about. What is it like to be Elephant Mario? What does Elephant Daisy look like? So here we go. Let's crunch the numbers and, oh, it's just medium well wonder. Here's the thing. It's a 2D Mario game that plays on our expectations as people who have played many 2D Mario games. Oh no, there goes the flag. What happens now? How am I supposed to finish this level? It's a twist on conventions, but it's still relying upon those conventions at the same time. And I'm not complaining. I think the game looks like a heck of a lot of fun. I think it looks imaginative, but I'm just trying to explain to you why we probably got that reading from the Wonder Meter. And really, I don't have a problem with that. I think this is the perfect slate for right now. Because here's the thing. I think the Switch's Dokusoiest games came out in its first year. Talking about Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Just completely rethinking everything these ancient franchises have to be. What is required of these franchises. And then honestly, a great disappointment for me from the Switch's lifespan is that Nintendo didn't successfully launch many new series at all. ARMS wasn't it. Labo and Ring Fit Adventure, probably not coming back. The Switch has been a golden age for Nintendo, but perhaps, dear viewer, not an age of wonder. But really why I'm not upset about this is that I feel like, hey, this is probably the last year where the Nintendo Switch is Nintendo's only console. This is, like, it will live, the next thing is coming out next year probably, right? And yes, there will be more Switch years after that, but I'm saying this is basically the last hurrah. So yeah, go ahead and remaster a 3DS game. Let Princess Peach put on her little play. But next year, I fully expect whatever is next, whatever comes after the Switch, it must fully exemplify Dokuso. And there's no way it won't. No way, no how, when we see that thing, it will look like it makes sense. There's no way whatever Nintendo announces next, it will be normal. And that is incredibly exciting for me. And that is delayed input for this week. Thanks for watching. Since we're halfway through this year, I thought it would be a good idea to check in on my top 10 most anticipated trailers of 2023. Here's what it looked like last time we saw it. Remember that Black Panther and Captain America game? That's gonna be cool. And then Just Dance 2024. And unfortunately, we have to stop there for the rest of this video. Though I would like to say really quick that I think Mortal Kombat 1 really turned things around with its second trailer, but Just Dance 2024. Now, this was the kickoff to Ubisoft Forward. I did not watch this until today. I was putting it off. It's like, it's time to watch. Because, okay, back a second. The reason that Just Dance was on that list of anticipated trailers is that last year, Just Dance had its first bad year. So this year, Ubisoft had to win people back, you know? They had to turn things around. How do they shift the momentum? And so back, we're watching, their E3 thing, and it's the same. They're acting like nothing happened. It's just another year of Just Dance. Then there's this slick transition into the live stage show. And you see all this text about how Just Dance is going to be an esports Olympic event. Congrats to the finalists, but not enough congrats for us to be able to see your names or faces. But naturally, one has to wonder, how is Just Dance an Olympic event? You don't have to do the full dance with that game to get high scores. Do people just cheat? Well, no. While the gamers get in-game points, judges will determine the winner of each matchup. So it's an esport where the winner in-game doesn't matter. It's the judges who determines who won. Then, of course, you look at the other Olympic esports events, and most of them tie into real-life sports, regardless of whether that game has an actual competitive community or not. So it's weird. They'll have exhibitions for Street Fighter and Rocket League, but there are 10 main events. And they are cycling, archery, sailing, dance, baseball, chess, tennis, shooting, motorsport, and taekwondo. Shooting is Fortnite, but not Fortnite matches. They've created a custom level that you drop into and shoot in. The game for cycling is Zwift here, which seems that you need to attach to an actual stationary bike. Feels like maybe a complete misunderstanding of what esports are.
So it's just like in real life cycling.
And then tic-tac-toe. Look at this shit. It's a mobile game. Well, hey, archery is an actual Olympic sport, so this is the next best thing. And maybe like this is just me being unfair. Maybe I'm being too condescending. Maybe great emotions were experienced when playing tic-tac-toe?
That's right! Great emotions were experienced in each of the tic-tac-toe matches.
Okay, that does change things. Please allow me to say, never mind.